Welcome, Ruth, to the Working Wellbeings podcast. Thank you so much for sparing a little bit of time.
You're welcome.
With us today. You are the Chief People Officer at the Gym Group. Yeah, and you're based here in London, did you say?
Yes, we've literally just moved into our new offices in Clapham recently.
Exciting.
So yeah.
And how many people is that there at head office?
At head office, just over 200, and obviously we're a multi-site organisation, so 245 gyms across up and down the UK. So our total workforce is around the sort of 2,000 mark.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. So you're thinking about a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And how many different sort of job types? Because I can imagine there's obviously lots of trainers.
Yeah. So obviously, within the gyms, you've got gym personal trainers, and you've got management in the gym, managers in the gym. We've got the field-based guys in terms of sort of guys and girls, there's the regional managers, operations, and then some of the field-based operational stuff, so maintenance and all of that sort of stuff. And then gym support, your usual functions really, people, finance, data, tech, commercial marketing, that sort of stuff.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, I am a member of Bristol Avon Meads Gym.
Congratulations. Good choice.
I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here in front of me. I love it. I have completely bought into.
And what do you love about
Gym
it?
Group. I love its flexibility.
Yeah.
But honestly, it might be that particular one. It's the only one I go to. I've got one of those memberships where it's very specifically that one, which works really well for me. It just feels very inclusive and not intimidating. I'm a bit of a gym person anyway, so I don't feel too scared going to, those other gyms. But yeah, it feels very sincere. I feel like your communications about your values and who you are and how members should be are really clear.
Yeah.
And so, I genuinely have thought many times when I've been in there, this must be a great organisation to work for. And that was before I even knew I was going to be able to speak, get the chance to speak to you. So where does that come from?
Well, that is music to our ears, because I suppose our founder's mission was breaking down barriers to fitness, about making gyms back in those days, and it wasn't that long ago, but when JT was founding the Gym Group, gyms were expensive, they were a bit intimidating, they were only for the elite, potentially, etc. And the Gym Group is all about being accessible, inclusive, 24/7 access, no contracts, so make it easy, break down the barriers so anybody can access fitness. And I think as the company's grown, as it's got older, literally what you've just said is what I would say we strive for. So inclusive, welcoming environments, don't make it intimidating, make it somewhere that everybody feels that they can be happy and comfortable, and we really do. And I would like to say I don't think it is just that one gym. I get that feedback a lot. I go to the gyms myself, obviously, but I get that from friends and family who use the gyms and people that I meet that use our gyms who say very similar things. Our values are about being friendly, about challenging your limits, but that inclusive stuff. I've just been talking on the stage there about women's health. And talking about, loads of all companies have policies, right? But it's what you do with the policy. Policies for life. It's not just for Christmas. Policies is what you do to bring them to life. And something I feel really passionate about is women's health and women's fitness. And I'm a big gym goer myself and always have been. I've only worked at the Gym Group the last couple of years, and I've been big into fitness long before that. So it's the dream job for me. I get to combine my love of fitness, helping women thrive, be successful, personally, professionally, at any stage of life. And fitness and and it's not just about being a really fit person or being able to lift loads of heavy weights, but it's just about being able to have access to fitness in a great environment that's going to make me feel like I can do what I need to do to make me feel good. And it might be aesthetic goals, it might be weight loss goals, whatever it is, but the mental health goals, and how that supports us is hugely important as well. Yeah. And that's what we strive to create in terms of with our teams and the environment in the gyms.
I just think it's really incredible to have been able to make that culture shift in something, because that's tough, isn't it? To change the way that people experience and perceive a thing. And I do genuinely, as it's my experience, feel like that has happened.
I can't take any credit for it. I've only been in the Gym Group for like nearly 3 years. And I joined an organisation, obviously, and when I first met the business, I was like, oh wow, this is great. Mm-hmm. Like I say, my passion is fitness and female health and also HR, because that's obviously the job I do, and being able to combine the two things. I teach fitness classes on the side as a side hustle. Yeah. So I'm really passionate about that subject. So coming into the Gym Group and having that great culture already, and then how can you build on that? And if you want, I can talk a bit about what I was just talking about on that panel, really, which was all about how do you have a policy, but how do you bring it to life? Women's health, menopause policies, that type of thing. And what we've done at the gym group, and I think this is why you see what you see, is we've got people who are passionate about fitness, but then we support them and we give them skills and empower them and enable them and equip them with more and more knowledge. So 18 months, 2 years ago, we set out in partnership with the Well HQ to create our own CPD accredited programme that was training managers and fitness trainers, personal trainers in the gyms on the specifics around female fitness. And, you know, the gap's getting better. Like personal trainers weren't taught that much about the specifics of what women need versus what men need when it comes to exercise. And what we're trying to do is bridge that gap. There is more now, there is more information, and we've been giving our trainers that information so that they can support members better and create an environment that women don't feel intimidated by. You know, you and I both like the gym, so we're not that intimidated, but I know plenty of women who do find it really difficult to walk into a gym. They're not sure what to do. So actually creating that environment so that they can feel that they can achieve whatever they want to achieve is really important.
Yeah. Well, it's another little personal anecdote and another little credit to the gym group. But I've got a 1-year-old, so I was pregnant going to the gym. Yeah. And there was a real sense of sort of safety and consideration from the trainers, because I do a lot of the gym floor group classes. Yeah. And I felt really looked after, and they were very aware. And even afterwards, you know, people, even after I'd been away for a few months, because postpartum, and after I went back ambitiously, you know, there was a bit of caution from trainers to look out for me, which was really nice. So that education's obviously really
and I think pregnancy, people talk about, we were just saying in this panel that, you know, if this had been 10 years ago, we wouldn't be having a main stage talk about menopause. And things have really moved on. And I think that's brilliant. You know, people are not as embarrassed to talk about it. Yeah. And of course, you know, pre and post pregnancy and all that sort of stuff is really important, and we know how to look after women. Then you've got to get into these other stages of life and this midlife piece. And as we get a bit older, how we train, I'm a lot older than you, the training that we need to do now is different. Like, there are different things that will work better for me at my stage of life with my hormonal changes than maybe you are with a 1-year-old. So we want to give the trainers that information and make sure, and I think, you know, I'm really proud that we've got men doing that training as well. So the men are having the confidence to understand menopause, understand female health, it's exercise in midlife, nutrition, breast health, pelvic health. And actually, you know, I've now got male trainers running pelvic health workshops in gyms. Love that. You know, and they've got the confidence now to be able to talk to a midlife woman or an old woman or whatever, and actually not feel weird about menopause, and actually broadening the conversation to menstrual health, menstruation, you know, conditions that affect women, polycystic endometriosis, fertility, and we're expanding it into that now as well.
So can I ask you some quick practical questions then, given the fact that we're kind of doing a bit of an express chat right now? I might have to invite you back sometime if that's okay. Practically then, women's health in terms of internally and supporting your workforce, specifically menopause if you'd like, but what do those programmes look like?
So the champions that we've created through Female Health First, we've got Female Health First accredited champions. We've got around 200 odd people.
And is that what you created with?
Is what we created with the Well HQ. Now there's a double whammy here, or a triple whammy I call it. So we've benefited hopefully the individuals who are employees, because now they've got more skills to support themselves and to learn and to support clients. So the second thing is we're now supporting members. But actually, from a workplace perspective, I've created 200 champions across the business that any one of us can then go and talk to if we need to about whatever it is, and knowing that you can go to those gyms and have somebody who's going to be a specialist. My sister's got 3 kids under the age of 10, you know, and she joined our gym, a gym group gym where she lives, and her first thing to me was, I want a female trainer who understands what I need. And I was able to say confidently, yep, in that gym, I know we've got an accredited person. So the membership support, and then the workplace support. A younger female member of our gym support team was taking part in a High Rocks event, big fitness trend, and she, and because of the work we've done with the Well, we've done other educational things that is accessible to all employees. She learnt so much on this female-centric nutrition webinar that she was able to tailor her training plan and tailor her thinking in advance of a big competition that she was doing, and she found that really useful. So I think in the workplace, that's one thing, having people that can talk to. And then I think the other really important thing is just leadership, you know, and actually I am in a fortunate position in my role, and I love my role, but I am a senior individual in the business, and I like to think I'm approachable, but I will talk about menopause and female health till the cows come home. And I think just having that open conversation. We hosted our own little, it wasn't as professional as this setup, but we did our own little podcast, me and a couple of other women in the business, talking about our experiences in the workplace, how we feel about it all. And that just opens up conversation, right? And then, you know, when I had a male member of a male director in the business come to me and say, what you just said really resonated. I can see my wife has got some challenge. She's struggling a little bit with stuff. What can I do to help? And therefore we were able to help him to help her sort of thing. So community, creating that support, that network in the gyms or in gym support, as we call it in head office, impact in terms of societal impact, in terms of supporting people to have the confidence to do it. Leadership, make sure we talk openly about it, is important culturally. And then you start talking about that sort of, you know, menopause, you start talking about menstruation, it opens up the barriers again to, it's okay to talk about neurodiversity, it's okay to talk about fertility, it's okay to talk about men's mental health. And it just helps to sort of keep that conversation going, I guess.
Yeah. And do you think this is having an impact on the experience that your workforce is having as an employee of the gym group and their longevity, their commitment? I think traditionally, especially for trainers, I know that there's been, I also work in the kind of group exercise space. I'm a yoga teacher as well.
Okay, fab.
Yeah, it's a tough gig.
It's tough.
It's a tough gig, and it's been very freelance, very poorly paid. There's no CPD. You're on your own. Do you think this is changing?
I think it is changing. I genuinely, actually, and I'm not just going to say it, because I think I'm from my background pre the gym group was hospitality, high levels of turnover. We have got high levels of turnover within personal trainers, of course, because there is lots of options. There's lots of gyms they can work in. They can go online. They can do it themselves in the park, etc., etc. But I'm pleasantly surprised at how low our turnover. I mean, it's still not, it could be better, but it's coming down. Retention is getting better. I think people do appreciate the support that they get in the workplace, and that's in the gym environment. And because we are constantly looking for ways to upskill and empower them to have more knowledge, there's also, I think, it's probably a sneak peek of some work that I know is coming. So a lot more stuff is CPD accredited. We've got SimSpa, it's a Chartered Institute for Sport and Physical Activity, who are championing the whole professionalism of the sector, accrediting people with that senior practitioner status, really recognising your experience versus someone who's newly qualified. So, in fact, I've got to come back here and talk at a panel about that in about a month's time. But so I think the industry is starting to get the recognition it deserves. Practitioners, people who are experts in yoga or personal training and stuff are starting to get that recognition. And then in the gym support, I mean, I literally had somebody come to me and say that I wish I was being, so we've got our Investors in People assessment going on, and they pick who they want to talk to, and they didn't pick Emma. And Emma really wanted to talk to them because she wanted to tell them how supported she felt at work as a menopausal woman because of the things that she's been able to access through the work that we've done. And in particular, we and this wasn't expensive to do, we were able to get free 30-minute appointments with a menopause specialist doctor that we offered up as freebies to our employees, and she took one of those, and that really, really helped her because she was getting nowhere with her local GP. And she wanted to tell the IOP assessor about that.
So is that something you offered to the whole workforce if they wanted access to it? So it's like a very tangible...
Yeah. I mean, it's not there all year round, all the time, but once or twice a year we have a campaign and we open it up for people as something. And like I say, it's not as expensive as you might think to offer up some of these things. 24/7 doctor line, so that people have got access to GPs when they need it, rather than being 35th in the queue when I ring at 8 a.m. and I never get through.
The pain.
You know, that sort of stuff. So I think, yes, they do cost some money, but they're not as expensive as you might think.
Yeah. On benefits, can I just ask quickly about EAP? Do you have one?
Yes.
Yes. And what's the access like? You know, do people utilisation?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? When you need it, you need it. And if you don't, you probably don't even pay attention to it. I think one of the things I would say is that EAPs, I think, are getting a bit better. I think they are broadening their offering. There's, like, I'm always pleasantly surprised, oh, the EAP does that, or the EAP does that. I think for a multi-site business like ours, it's always a challenge to get internal comms out. Like, personal trainers work in the gym floor, quite often are part-time. So they're not in the gyms all the time. So getting those messages through to them, we have to work really hard centrally to get the messages out there and make sure that they know that EAP is accessible to them. So that's a constant thing that I think employers always have to work hard at.
Yeah. Do you actually go out into the field very much?
Yeah. And Stacey, who's my payroll and benefits senior manager, she's really passionate about this because we've got some really good benefits and she gets frustrated that people don't know about it. So she literally will put herself out there, host Teams calls, talk to the regional managers, say, can I come to your regional meetings? Can I tell more people about this? And we've just moved into our new offices. So we've been talking about how we can do some lunch and learns. We've got this lovely new kitchen space in the new office. So we're going to do some lunch and learn events just to keep talking about. You've got to, repetition. You've got to just keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Make sure
Yeah. Because there's always people, I mean, I find our workforce, NHS workforce, to be someone who has worked there for 10 years and they still haven't heard about that particular thing. And as you say, people need things when they need it. And that's also important to be there and through the life stages.
Yeah.
I have so many questions for you and I'm really conscious that you've got to get off. So hopefully we can chat to you again sometime. But just kind of final thing to sort of leave things on is, do you think this could be a transformation for people who want to work in these industries? Trainers, mostly, I guess, in terms of kind of creating a more positive environment for them. Because it does feel like historically it has been really difficult. And that would just be amazing, wouldn't it, if they feel they can be part of an organisation as a trainer and be supported.
That's what we're working really hard to do. And I think if you look at the physical industry as a whole, I think you'll probably see this in the gyms that you're in and your yoga and stuff. But I think you get a fairly young audience coming. I like the younger generation of valuing the gym and exercise way more than I did. Like when I was 19, I was at uni, I was working in a pub, and if I wasn't working or at uni, I was out partying. I wasn't going to the gym. But they are, kids that age, young people that age now are prioritising the gym on a Friday night over the pub. And I think, and then you talk about what that generation is looking for in terms of a supportive workplace. So I think it's really incumbent on employers to create a good environment. And that's hard, and you've got to work hard at it, but that's okay. And I think that therefore, and then the interest in our industry, fitness industry as a whole, means it's even more incumbent on us to create a good environment. Now, we're a relatively large organisation. We're the second largest high value gym company in the UK. Right. So yes, of course, we're slightly bigger, but doesn't mean that other people, we can all do our bit to support trainers in the industry and make it a good environment, a good place to work. And, and we've got all the great other roles within the support centre that are, and actually, do you know what? Breaking down barriers to fitness, which is our founder's original mission, we're actually doing that. We're having societal impact on people being healthy, achieving their goals, whatever those goals might be, is going to lower the impact on the NHS. It's going to create healthier environments and healthier communities. And we are in locations that, don't necessarily have access to some of that stuff. Yeah. So come and work for the gym group, and this isn't a pitch necessarily, but you are making a difference to people's lives. Fundamentally, and that's a really nice feeling to have, that you are doing a job, HR, finance, whatever, that is making a difference.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's really quite incredible. It's funny because this conversation is making me think, because obviously I've observed this shift in fitness and enthusiasm for training, especially in young people, but also people of all ages, love seeing, retired people hitting the gym and lifting their weights, and, the whole thing about, women in their sort of menopause, midlife, using strength training to help support that. I think it's incredible. I hadn't considered that actually there's a meeting maybe of not just the trend and the popularity of it, but actually there being organisations that are there supporting that process. So hats off to the gym group and the other organisations really trying to do things to fit and raise the standard.
Absolutely.
It's really incredible. Well, I want to let you go because I know that you've got other things to do today, but thank you so much for your time. It'd be lovely to have you on the podcast again, we can do it online if that makes things easier.
Yeah.
And keep up the awesome work.
Thanks
to hear a little bit about it, and we'll look forward to hearing more.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. This episode is brought to you by Wellhub, the corporate wellness platform transforming how companies care for their teams with a single subscription. Get an exclusive free trial using the link in the description below.